Hey everyone, it's your boy Zero, and you know what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about my top games for 2020. Now, instead of doing a top 10 list though, I'm shorting my list down to more about 5 games. Even though 2020 was a great year for gaming, indeed it was, I didn't actually get to play and actually complete a lot of games. So, what I did was I decided to take a very small list, just use the games I know that I completed, that I liked, that I enjoyed a lot, and compress that into a nice, bite-sized top 5 list for Game of the Year. However, I do have some other games to talk about. First of all, I'm going to be talking about some special mentions, some honorable mentions. These are going to be games that I actually played a little bit, or didn't get to play at all, or wish that I did get to play. So, first on that list is going to be Street Fighter V Champion Edition. Anybody who knows me knows that I love Street Fighter, alright? I have Street Fighter 4, I have Street Fighter 3, I have Street Fighter 2, I have Street Fighter 5, obviously. I was actually about to buy the physical version of Champion Edition. Due to some pandemic issues, I didn't end up doing that, obviously. I did end up getting it a little bit cheaper, the upgrade package for my digital version. So I have been able to play it. However, because it's more of like an expansion, I decided not to really put it on my top 5 list. I am a huge fan of the new updates. I'm looking forward to the new characters that are coming out soon. So yes, that is a special game to me. Next is going to be Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Now, I got to play Super Mario 64 back in the day. I enjoyed the heck out of it back then. I never got to touch Sunshine. I never had a GameCube or a family member that had one. And I only briefly touched Galaxy. So, being able to have a collection of all 3 super awesome 3D Mario games is amazing. I just need a Switch right now. Next is going to be Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. Now, I got to play the original on the PS2. Never touched 2, I heard it's a bad game anyway. And then I played a little bit of Devil May Cry 3 and I loved the experience there. I briefly touched Devil May Cry 4, but when I saw Devil May Cry 5, my mind was blown. Those graphics look freaking amazing. The gameplay looks like so much fun. However, I did end up getting the original version on my PS4. It's still in its shrink wrap. I had never had a chance to play it. I'm hoping to play it soon. And then of course upgrade to the special edition so I can play as the new character. Next up on this special list is Panzer Dragoon Remake. I love Panzer Dragoon. I got to play the original back on the Sega Saturn. I thought it was an amazing arcade experience. I love the idea of being able to ride around on a dragon, destroy a whole bunch of stuff. When I saw that there's a remake with better graphics and somewhat tighter controls, I got excited. The problem with this game is that it's a little expensive for a very short remake. The price just isn't right now, and I'm definitely gonna grab it once that price drops a little bit. Next up is Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. I'm a huge fan of platforming games, and this one puts platforming and gives it a nice competitive twist. It's a very fun game, a very simple game. The only problems I have with this game are basically that it's always online, so you can't play this game with your friends at home. And then also, it's kind of repetitive. Especially when it came out, it was just the same couple of levels over and over again. It kind of bored me after a while. This game for me is more fun in small batches, not in long gaming sessions. Now let's talk about Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Me and Nanners are huge Little Big Planet fans. We love the first one, we love the second game. The one on the Vita was also a lot of fun as well. Little Big Planet 3 left a little bit to be desired, but this one looks like a lot of fun. The only downside to Sackboy: A Big Adventure is the fact that they took out all the creation tools and they're mainly focusing on the platforming. But hey, we're platforming fans on this channel, so I can't wait to try this game out. Spider-Man Miles Morales is next. The game looks like a lot of fun. The original Spider-Man on the PS4 was a crap ton of fun. Swinging around New York City, visiting the areas you would normally go to if you live in New York City like we do, beating up bad guys, flinging webs everywhere. It's a lot of fun. But now you have Miles Morales in this game, a fellow Hispanic, like me, fighting crime, fighting villains, and with new powers, and with remixed music and stuff like that. I need to play this game. I'm not going to touch it until I get a PS5 though, because I want all those extra graphical and nice things that they added to the PS5 version. Doom Eternal is up next. Now, some of you may not know this, but I'm actually a huge Doom fan. I got to play a little bit of the original. I thought it was a lot of fun. Never really got too far into it. I recently got the 2016 version of Doom. Looks like a lot of fun. I haven't had time to touch it, but Doom Eternal looks amazing. I can't wait to grab a gun and just mow down a whole bunch of evil alien demon thingies later. Now let's talk about an indie game, a little indie game known as Get a Grip Chip. Now, I didn't expect to like this game a lot. When Red Star Interactive actually sent us the code to basically play the game and give our opinion about it, I didn't think it was going to be so amazing. When I played Get a Grip Chip, I was hooked. It's a very simple platformer puzzle game where you play as a robot using some sort of little hook to swing around and figure out a whole bunch of puzzles. It's very simple, but it's very, very addicting. It's a game that I basically fell in love with after the first couple of minutes. I got hooked on it. It's a lot of fun. However, there are other games that kind of grab me a little bit stronger, which is why it's not in my top 5 list. And the last game for this list is One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows. I'm a huge fighting game fan. As you guys probably already know, the first game on this list was indeed Street Fighter V. I'm also a big anime fan. I love watching One Punch Man. It's such an amazing show. It's very funny, it's very comical, it's very entertaining. So when they made a fighting game based off of it, I had to check it out. I played the demo of it at Anime NYC in 2019, and it was a very strange take that they took with fighting game genre. Instead of having sort of like a normal timer, one of the fighters ends up calling up One Punch Man, and he ends up running towards the fight. So now you actually have to beat up your opponent before One Punch Man gets there and beats him for you. It's a very interesting take on the fighting game genre. It got me hooked when I tried the demo. I haven't been able to get the game lately, so I can't wait to try that game out and actually get a lot more deeper into it. It actually made it onto our list in our previous video, so go ahead and watch that if you like. Alright, now before I get to my top 5 list, I want to mention my worst game of the year. 2020 had a bunch of horrible games. Especially in their launch date. You have Cyberpunk 2077, you have 13, which turned out to be pretty bad. Our buddy Bulbtastic mentioned Warcraft 3 Reforged, which ended up being a horrible game as well. But for me, I decided to choose a different game. I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. I love the first game, I love Chain of Memories, the second game was also a lot of fun. However, when you get to Kingdom Hearts 3, the game was pretty lackluster. I'm pretty sure a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans can agree with me there. But then they came out with Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. This was an add-on DLC you add to Kingdom Hearts 3. It was supposed to expand and further explain the story of Kingdom Hearts 3, which was pretty convoluted as it was already, but it didn't really do too much. Imagine getting a DLC, and what you mostly do in that DLC is play the latter half of the original game with some extra cutscenes, and maybe you get to play as an extra character or two. That's about it. As I played through that DLC, I got pretty frustrated. Experiencing the same part of that game over and over again, it left a really bad taste in my mouth. Not only that, then you have the Final Fantasy characters. Kingdom Hearts is known for its mix of Disney characters and Final Fantasy characters, but in the main game, you didn't see any Final Fantasy characters at all. Until you get to Remind, the DLC, and then you get to see them, sure, but that's it. You see them at the very end of that DLC, and you don't really get to do much with them. You get to maybe speak to them a little bit, and that's it. That frustrated the heck out of me. What happened? And then you have that boss rush mode at the very end, which I didn't even bother with. I tried fighting Ansem like 2 times, and I said, screw this. I just watched the cutscenes you get from beating those bosses online, because I wasn't going to deal with that ridiculous difficulty. So yes, that is my worst game of 2020. Alrighty, time to get into the meat and potatoes. Here are my top 5 games of the year for 2020. Number 5 is going to be this little trinket right over here, Dreams. Now, Dreams, made by the same people who made Little Big Planet and Media Molecule, they went all out. Imagine having a game where you can make whatever game you want. That's what Dreams is. I wanted to be a video game developer back in high school. If I had this back then, I would have lost my mind. Heck, when I played Little Big Planet, I lost my mind. It was such an amazing creative tool to just make whatever I wanted. But this frees you up a lot more because you're not tied down to creating a side-scrolling platformer. You can make whatever the heck you want with this. You want to make a shooter? Go for it. You want to make a horror game? Go for it. As a matter of fact, Nanners and I, when we played this game, actually got to play a recreated version of PT. Imagine that. That's amazing. That's crazy. The story mode in this game was also a lot of fun. The only issue I had with it is that it was very, very short. Another issue I had with this game was the fact that you can't really play online with a friend. I'm hoping that by the time this goes up, they fix that. But who knows? Either way, this game was amazing. If you guys find it on sale, go grab it. Try to make something and just have fun with this game. You can literally do whatever the heck you want. This is why this game is in my top 5. Number 4 is going to be Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection. I love the Mega Man Zero series. That's where I got my name from, as a matter of fact, Zero. I got to play the original 4 on an emulator back in the day, never had a Game Boy Advance. However, the ZX games I never got to play on the DS because I didn't have a DS either, and it's difficult to emulate DS games. But now I can play all of these games on a single disc? Sign me up. You have graphical improvements in here, the games look amazing on a big screen TV, you have quality of life improvements as well, you have little checkpoints that you can use while playing the Mega Man Zero games, which makes the game a little bit tolerable. The games were pretty challenging. And you also have special boss challenges in this game as well. It's a great value, it's a great collection, and that's the reason why it's number 4 on my list. If you guys find this on sale like I did, as you can see here, go grab it. It's a good experience, it's a great value. Number 3 is going to be Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remake. Now, if you're like me, you played the original 2 back in the day, and those games were a lot of fun. Awesome arcade action, it popularized skateboarding back in the day as well. But now you have both of these games in one disc, and not just one disc, but polished up to HD perfection. Vicarious Visions did one hell of a job. They gave you better camera controls, quality of life improvements, you have a whole bunch of unlockables, especially some Crash Bandicoot gear that you can wear. Most of the soundtrack is kept from both games, and they even added new songs to spice it up a little bit. And then you also have the returning skaters, with a whole bunch of new age skaters as well. There's especially a lot more female presentation in this game, which is awesome because it's only gonna encourage more women to take up skateboarding and maybe even try it out for once. And then you have the levels. They took every single level and they made them look beautiful. Just going back and replaying those levels gave me so much nostalgia, and then just the sheer beauty of every level was freaking fantastic. And let's not forget all the little extra things you can find. If you play through this game, try to find those little alien things and see if you can smash them. Because if you do, you're going to be able to unlock an all-new character, an alien, which I called Bob. I'm working on a review for this game, so look out for that in the future. The only issue I have with this game is some internet connectivity with some friends. It's not the easiest game to play online with your friends. And then also, you're not able to play as Spider-Man. Where the heck is Spider-Man? Come on, Sony, you have Spider-Man on PS4. You're gonna tell me you couldn't cut a deal with Activision to put him in this game, at least for the PS4 version? Come on. Either way, the game is a lot of fun. Go pick it up if you have the chance. Number 2 is going to be Final Fantasy VII Remake. Holy crap, Square Enix just had to flex their graphical pecs in our faces, didn't they? This game is beautiful, but not only is it beautiful, it is pretty deep. It's funny how they took the original Final Fantasy VII, took the first disc, and was able to stretch that game up to about 30 to 40 hours long. This game is long, it's hard, and it's gonna take you for a ride. I love the fact that they added voice acting to this game. It breathes a lot of life into these characters. It gives them a lot more personality. The characters are able to shine a little bit better in this game as well. It was great to be able to see the interaction between Tifa and Cloud, not just through text, but actual movement and speaking. You also get to hear Barrett and his motivations and everything like that. It comes across a lot stronger when you get to hear them. The battle system, I don't know about you guys, but I enjoyed it. I'm a very action-oriented guy, so waiting for my characters to take their turn and actually attack and stuff like that, it makes me a little bit impatient. I like to be able to just run in there and do what you can and just fight. The way they actually made you use the materia system in this game was also very, very intuitive. The fact that you're able to just equip what you want, pause the game during battle and choose your ability, it's genius. It just makes the game much more hectic. It makes it a lot more exciting for me. Now, there are going to be some people out there that are not going to enjoy this game. Our buddy Nanners happens to be one of them. Some people don't like the fact that this game barely makes it out of Midgar, which is basically the first disc. Some people aren't excited about paying full price for part of the original game. Some people are not excited that this was not a faithful remake. The way I take this game though is you don't treat it as a remake. Treat it as a reimagining. Treat this game as a solo title, and you will find that this game is actually really, really, really good. There's a lot of surprises in this game. If you haven't tried it yet, try to get your hands on it. It is a great experience. All right, we made it all the way down to number 1. Drum roll, please. Number 1 is going to be Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a huge Crash Bandicoot fan. I played the original trilogy on the PS1 with my friends and family. I had a blast with that series. It made me love Naughty Dog from the get-go. Naughty Dog is still to this day my favorite developer. They make quality games. So it sucks that after Crash Team Racing, Naughty Dog did not have control of the Crash Bandicoot IP anymore. Universal Interactive was the one in charge of the rights for Crash Bandicoot, and man, did they do a horrible job. Wrath of Cortex, when I played that game, it was pretty subpar. It was basically Crash 3 with a virtual reality twist to it. They did bring in 4 new masks though. Kind of funny because they did the same thing here. It seems like Toys for Bob decided, hey, why don't we take the idea of Wrath of Cortex and actually create something that follows Crash 3 and make it make a lot more sense. They blew me out of the water. As a Crash fan, I love the fact that this game actually took place right after the 3rd game, which is where Cortex and Entropy decided, hey, we're not gonna stay stuck in this time loop. Let's actually try to go back. And inadvertently, accidentally opened up a hole to time and space. Now they're trying to take over the whole universe, which is where this game takes place. You're playing as Crash and Coco with the help of 4 new quantum masks to help you fix this whole rip in space and time. I also love the title, It's About Time, because it is about time. It's about time we get an actual sequel to Crash Bandicoot 3. I love the fact that Toys for Bob was able to take the original formula and give it a modern twist to it. You're able to play without having to deal with lives, which is great because the game is very difficult. They made a very challenging game. They brought in new playable characters with Dingo Dial and Tawna. Tawna being from a different dimension, by the way, which is also very exciting to see. They brought back the overworld map that you would see in Crash 1, but this time they call it the dimensional map, which makes sense. And then you have all the different unlockables. You have unlockable skins, you have unlockable challenge levels. This game gives you a lot to play with, and it's only about $40. The fact that this game did so much for a series that I'm just so attached to made me very happy. The animations were also very fantastic, and you even have one of my favorite voice actors in this game, Richard Horvitz, who was the voice of Invader Zim, and also Daggett from Angry Beavers. This game brought so much to the table. It's a great value, and anybody who loves platforming should get their hands on this game and just play through it just to see what I'm talking about. This game deserves all the praise it gets, and I think it deserves even more than that. This is why Crash Bandicoot 4 Is About Time is my number 1 game for 2020. And that's gonna wrap it up for me, everyone. Thank you for coming to this channel and watching our videos. If you enjoyed this top 5 video of mine, please make sure to slap that like button. If you haven't already, go check out Nanners' top 10 video, and also our buddies BioZ Venom and Bulbtastic. They also made some top 10 videos. Go and check those out as well. Please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and also stay tuned for more awesome content. We'll catch you guys later.